You're thinking about retirement. You've got $3 million in pre-tax retirement accounts, and your house is paid off. What else could you ask for, right? How about some peace of mind? Now, don't get me wrong, that's definitely enough to live off of. But you're still having doubts. How do you make sure you don't leave any money on the table and you don't overpay your good friend Uncle Sam? And more importantly, how do you calm those negative thoughts you might be having at night about having enough, doing Roth conversions, or wondering if you're investing your assets correctly? Let me assure you, you are not alone. These are concerns I hear from my new retirement clients all the time. And in today's video, we'll review a retirement planning case study for a couple retired at age 60 with $3 million in pre-tax retirement accounts. If you want to see how this turns out, make sure you stick around. If we haven't met before, my name is JP Geisbauer. I'm a certified public accountant, a certified financial planner professional, and this channel is dedicated to helping Americans retire smarter to live better. If this video gets you thinking about your retirement plan, use the top link in the description below to schedule a time to discuss it with me. While this video was inspired by the facts and circumstances of some of my clients, this exact fact pattern that I'm describing today is completely fictional. And as with most things related to personal financial planning, investing, and income taxes, there can be complicating factors. Sometimes seemingly small changes in one's circumstances can have a dramatic impact upon one's financial plan. The information in this video should not be considered specific advice on your situation, as this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. With that being said, here is the fact pattern for today's case study. Background. Husband and wife are both age 60. They live in California. They've recently retired after successful careers. They're both in excellent health, and their life expectancy is anticipated to be until age 95. They have a well-developed retirement spending plan, and they want to maximize their retirement plan. Finances. They have a $1.5 million home that is fully paid off. They have $100,000 in cash savings. They have $3 million in a pre-tax individual retirement account. They want to craft a Social Security withdrawal strategy that will maximize their benefits over their lifetime. They are spending $7,250 a month in expenses to maintain their current lifestyle. They're projecting $2,000 a month in medical insurance before they turn age 65 and are eligible for Medicare. This video is going to be released in the last few months of the year, which probably means you've recently received your medical insurance renewal. And if you did, I probably don't need to tell you that these costs are only going to continue to rise. They're projecting $10,000 a year in leisure spending for the first 20 years. Think travel, dining, hobbies, etc. They feel that around age 80, they may need to begin to slow down a bit. They're currently in an 80-20 portfolio and use a retirement glide path. Questions. Do they have enough to retire? What Social Security claiming strategy can they use to maximize their benefits? What happens if they decide not to use a retirement glide path? Now, if you don't know what that is, stick around because it's a very important retirement planning concept, which I'll cover in more detail in just a few minutes. And then how do these strategies affect their overall retirement plan? If this fact pattern sounds familiar, you're right. And thanks for coming back to watch another one. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, I did another video with a similar fact pattern where the goal was to decide between spending more or doing more Roth conversions. Two important components of that plan were that the client was going to take Social Security at age 62 and use the asset allocation glide path. Someone left a comment indicating that they wanted to know what it would look like if they decided to maximize their Social Security and not use the glide path. So just so you know, I do read the comments. So as we're going through this case study, if you have any questions, please post them. Who knows? Maybe answering your question will be the subject of my next video. Okay, so with all that being said, let's dive into our case study. So here we are in our case study mode. Now, if you've been with me before, you know the place that I like to start is the personal balance sheet. Just kind of helps get our arms around where things are at and helps us level set with the plan. So as indicated in the fact pattern, we've got a joint bank account that has $100,000 of cash. We have got two individual retirement accounts, one for the husband, one for the wife. Each are $1.5 million. We then have their home, which is fully paid off. So as you can see, they have a total net worth of about $4.6 million. So as probably a surprise to no one, they have a very high probability of success at about 96% and median ending portfolio balance of about $3 million. But again, they wanted to maximize their retirement plan and look at options to do so. So let's first look at their investment strategy. As we indicated in the fact pattern, they're currently in an 80-20 asset allocation, meaning 80% equities and 20% fixed income. Now, as mentioned in the intro, I spoke about an asset allocation glide path. What the asset allocation glide path does is it gradually trims down your equity position as you get older. So as you can see, at age 60, they have 80% exposure to equities. However, as they get older, they're starting to trim that equity exposure, as you can see in that box. So by the time they're at age 95, it'll be 29%. So equity starts at 80, and as they get older, it goes down to 29%. The request was from the person who left a comment was that they wanted to see what this looked like without the glide path. Now, what the asset allocation glide path does is it basically reduces the equity exposure as you get older. And by using this equity allocation glide path, you're making the portfolio less volatile, but it also will have less ability to grow. So if we go back to our retirement paths tab and we go here to glide path, we can shut this off so that we will have no glide path. Now let's look at what this does for our analysis over here. Now what that does by not using the glide path, you can see that our projected ending median portfolio balance is about $4 million. Now that's about $1 million higher than what it was with the glide path. By allowing us to have that more performance, we are subjecting ourselves to more risk. But it's interesting to see what that means from a numbers perspective. Now, another point in that comment was that they wanted to see what it looked like when they optimized their Social Security. And as you can see here, they were initially claiming at age 62, but by waiting till age 70, they've got significantly more. And if you look at the comparison here, we can see by using the optimal strategy, which is age 70 compared to age 62, they are anticipated to get 1.7, almost $1.8 million more in Social Security by waiting to claim. So we go back into our retirement analysis here and we click on optimal strategy for our Social Security strategy. And now we can see, gosh, another $600,000 related almost exclusively to the timing of Social Security. So now that we've made these two changes, let's look and see whether or not this is going to affect any possible Roth conversion strategy that we may have. Now, here we are in our tax strategies tab. Now, this is basically just showing the projected income for the rest of their life in our scenario where we're maximizing Social Security and not using the glide path. Now, if you've been with me before, you'll know that when we usually see this drop off here in income, that's usually a pretty good indication that a Roth conversion strategy will be effective. So let's see just how effective this Roth conversion strategy will be. Now, I've already monkeyed around with this a little bit, so I know that our sweet spot in this particular analysis is going to be 12%. And by doing Roth conversions up to that 12% tax bracket, you can see where the green gets filled in and where we do the Roth conversions in these years where we have lower income. And doing so is going to result in $535,000 more in tax adjusted ending assets. So what does that look like at the end of the day? Well, as you can see, before doing the Roth conversions, we had 72% taxable at the end of the plan, but we still had tax deferred of 2.7%. Now, depending on who their beneficiaries are, they will likely have to take that 27% of the portfolio down and recognize that income over the 10 years after their parents have passed. Because of the Roth conversion strategies, you can see by this green piece here, we've created a 24% tax-free bucket. We also have a 56% taxable bucket and only leaving about a 19% tax deferred bucket. So by doing this Roth conversion strategy, we've created a situation where the people that are going to inherit this couple's assets may do so in a more tax efficient manner. So by making these adjustments, we've increased our probability of success from 96% to 99%. We've also projected our ending anticipated portfolio balance to be about $1.6 million higher than by not doing this. But keep in mind, by not using an asset allocation glide path, we are subjecting this client to more equity risk, which could have some interesting consequences if things don't exactly turn out the way they are planned. So what do you think? Were you surprised by how the Social Security claiming strategy and abandoning the glide path affected their overall retirement plan? Will you use these strategies, or do you feel like they're a little risky? Let me know in the comments below. As I indicated earlier, this video uses a similar fact pattern to one I did previously. In that video, we looked at how spending more in retirement can affect your Roth conversion strategy. You can find a link to that video here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.